Hey everybody, this is Peter Palmiotti of Human Art Studio, and this is Making Comics and Art, episode 106. And before I get into today's episode, I want to make sure to let you know, tune in to the next episode, whether live or afterwards, in which I'll be going over some details regarding art challenge I'm creating. So it's a comic making art challenge, and I hope you check it out, and I hope you like it. This episode, Talking Cats, is all about my gang of cats, and I went over it briefly last episode, but I figured I'd. Speaking of which, I don't know if you hear her, but I got the kitten trapped in the bathroom because she's been running around here like a lunatic. There she goes. And I just can't deal with her at the moment. I can't have her running around trying to get some work done. I hope she quiets down. Probably not. Meow. Meow. Quiet. Anyway. So the latest count is that I have 4. Clea, Ripley, and Rocket, in that order. And my newest addition is Panda Bear, a kitten I literally took off the streets, and gave a home to. And she is very young and very, like, freaking ball of energy. I will mention this. Hey, so this is Retro, issue 1, page 19. Kitties. Hey, Frank. Welcome, sir. Pet cats. No excuses. So yeah, Panda Bear. She's a freaking ball of energy. But as I mentioned previously, I did get her fixed the other day, and I was going to get my other cat, my other possibly new addition, Molly, fixed. But it turns out she was pregnant, and based on how cats work, she did not get pregnant during my watch. So that kind of makes me a little glad, because I was worried. Like, she disappeared for a month. I had her for 3 days. She disappeared for a month, and then I had her another bunch of days, and it was when I was going to take her to be fixed that we found out she was going to have kittens. She was with child. And so you can't fix a cat that's pregnant. So I just took the little one, and when she got back home, she was out. She was out, drugged, and all that. Because I also had her chipped, So it's not a foolproof thing, and it's kind of like with contingencies, like it's just that I can track her through the vet to where she's located. So it's not like a GPS. I can follow her on a map and track her down, but it's better than nothing, and it's not totally expensive. I think it was $27. Um, and actually, I need to go to their website and put in her information to make it finalized. But so I got my littlest one chipped, and I'll probably get the other three chipped as well. Although, we've been here for, well, I've been here for years with Clea and Ripley. Um, and they run around outside all the time. And Rocket, is relatively new. Um, but just in case scenario. So when I have the money, I'll get the three of them taken care of. Um, so the story of Molly continued. I found out she was pregnant, and it was like the next day, that night, well, 2:30 in the morning, she starts meowing, and let me do some work while I'm doing this. 2:30 in the morning, she starts meowing, and I knew something was up, but I'd never been with a cat before when they were pregnant, so I didn't know exactly the behavior they go through. And I called Lisa, my friend, who has been around a few cats when they were pregnant, as well as when they were giving birth. And I described what was happening, and she's like, "Oh, doesn't sound like she's going into labor," because she was meowing a lot for her. She talks, but it didn't seem like she was just talking to me. And she was sort of trying to get a good position, like she was on my bed, and it seemed like she was uncomfortable. She was sort of leaning in one direction, then leaning in another direction, flopping back and forth. And so I thought, oh well, Lisa's been through this. She knows. Um, I'll take her on her word and just keep an eye on her. It was like at that point, getting closer to 3 a.m. Um, and I'll just call her back if it changes any. And it just got worse. It just got. She was meowing almost constantly and shifting back and forth, and I was like, okay, she's definitely gonna have these kittens, and it seems to be happening right now. So I called Lisa again and told her, like she could hear Molly in the background meowing, and like she's almost constantly meowing, and you got to come over here quick. So she drove over, and she's like, "Yep, she looks like she's gonna have the babies," and it was just moments later, her water broke, and we got towels. We tried to make her as comfortable as possible, and we kept watch, and we kept watch, and we kept watch, and her back hindquarters went up, and all sorts of things. It was like we spent hours with her, and definitely looked like she was going to give birth, and we're trying to make her as comfortable as possible. And then Lisa had the idea to, like, I have a big taxi. Taxi is what you use to bring them to the vet or travel with, and it's like I'm gonna put her in there. Maybe she'd be more comfortable in a closed-in space rather than out on the bed. And it was just the opposite effect, where she clamped up. She did not like being put in that taxi at that moment, and she was no longer talking and no longer moving. Her eyes expanded dramatically, um, and she kind of looked a little pissed off. Um, and me and Lisa were a little freaked out. Just she was lying on her side. We had a blanket beneath her, and when we took her from the bed to the cage, to the taxi, she just grabbed onto that towel like it was the end of the world or something, and she was no longer meowing, no longer moving, not even an inch, and like we still knew she was alive because she was breathing heavy. That's one of the things that cats do. They start almost like a pregnant woman, like in and out, and yeah, it's a woman, all right. Yeah, and so she was still breathing heavy, but other than that, she didn't move an inch, and she she was like, this is not where I wanted to be or how I wanted to be when I was going to give birth, and she clamped down essentially, and didn't give birth. So we were with her a straight 4.5 hours. It was I don't know, somewhere. Let's see, 3 7. It was around 8 o'clock in the morning. I think Lisa stayed another hour, and she didn't move an inch or change in any way. And like during all this, we were looking stuff up online, information about pregnant cats and how to deal with them, and um, we found out that they could they could stop labor. Um, and that's what she did. She stopped her own labor, um, instinctually or what have you, but she did not give birth. Now, that turned out to be a good thing, because here I am slightly freaking out. Like, so I got a pregnant cat. It's going to have babies, and then I have to have a, a mama cat, and who knows how many baby cats um, here in my apartment, plus my other 4 cats. Um, the the picture to my life was not looking good. Um, but as it turned out, just by sheer chance and accident, um, Lisa was coming here or going home, or not that night, but the following day, she came across at the end of my block one of my neighbors who was outside and had a couple of her cats outside. And Lisa was like, "Oh, how, she had a baby kitten and an older cat. And, oh, they're adorable." And they got to talking. Uh, and Lisa told her about my pregnant cat and the situation. And the woman just automatically said that she'd take her in. And once, she gave birth and they were of a certain age, that she has relatives that have a farm. And I thought that was amazing. So she was true to her word. Lisa showed up at my place and told me she had some good news and told me about this woman. And so we got Molly. And Molly, later that day that we had the long night, I checked in on her as often as possible. And she finally did relax. You could see it in her eyes and just her whole being that, like the sort of the moment of giving birth has passed, and that she was once again more herself. So we brought her over to this woman, and she took her in. She said, if you want to come back and see her when she has the kittens, feel free. And that was kind of that. We hung out for a little bit, but we did go back, I guess it's 2 days ago now. And at that point, she still didn't have the babies. More than likely, as a result of her pausing her own pregnancy, she might lose the first kitten. But she will eventually give birth. And, so 2 days ago, she hasn't as of that time. And I passed by her house today, but didn't see her around, or didn't see her husband, boyfriend, whatever he is. So I'm not sure, but she said Molly is on her bed, took the prime real estate, and is not only very, very beautiful cat, which I knew, but very friendly. Molly has always been great with people. In the short time that I've known her, not so much with other cats, but that also might be, in recent time, a result of her being pregnant. So, she probably doesn't want other cats around to mess with her future kittens. So the gist of that is that I got Molly a home, and somebody will look after her now, while she has the kittens, which is it's an incredible miracle that I never would have conceived of happening. To find somebody like-minded, like me and Lisa, crazy about cats, as well as like the ability for her to take in Molly and future kittens, and also get them out to a good place to live. Um, so I am eternally grateful, not only for Lisa by chance meeting up with this woman, because I didn't know her. I mean, she's at the end of my block, but I don't know. I don't. I might have seen her once or twice before, but you don't know your neighbors until you know your neighbors. And she's a little bit further out than the immediate neighbor. So, but I am super delighted about that. That I won't have to be dealing with a cat going into labor, or having a bunch of kittens around for a month or so. I was not looking forward to that initially, and for the most part, I didn't know Molly was pregnant. So that was a shock and surprise. And like I said, figured out the sort of time she was here and the time it you know goes from conception to cats giving birth. Um, that was a lot more time than she was ever here, even initially. So I was given a pregnant cat, and that was totally wrong. But the family that had Molly couldn't take care of it, and I guess the woman, uh, I guess, was diagnosed with COVID, and whatever. It's like I was. I'm just happy that Molly's going to have a new home, and the kittens will be taken care of. Because I was trying to take steps to finding her a home, and running into brick walls and all that stuff. So super glad it worked out. So if you looked at the cover, you'll see there's all those cats that I mentioned, and one other. The other one is a cat I call Gravy, and he's the local stray. He's the local stray cat that I used to put food out, but it gets disgusting with bugs and slugs and all kinds of things, creepy crawlies on my porch outside. So I kind of stopped doing that, even though there are a lot of strays in the neighborhood. Um, I got enough of a tribe now that I can't be feeding everybody. So I decided just to let Gray in. Super sweet cat, super sweet, and I know he's a stray and not somebody's cat that they keep inside, because he's been around here 100 times already, and sometimes he spends at length, but for the most part he'll eat his food, hang out for a couple of minutes, and then be on his way. um, but even Gravy has had a little bit of a tough time dealing with my newest kitten, Panda Bear. Panda Bear is super sweet, but she is a kitten, and she doesn't know boundaries. And when she's super excited and running around, she can do some serious damage. And my cats are just learning to start setting rules, because otherwise she'll be utterly out of control. So Rocket is taking it on himself to make sure Panda Bear knows, hey, cut it out. Stop jumping on me. Stop putting your claws in me. Not going to take it anymore. And, of course, I'm telling her as well, as best she understands. But it's going to be a process. It's new kittens are always a ordeal for some time. She loves, she's been here long enough where, I let her outside, but I do keep watch when she's outside. Unlike my other cats where I could just let them out and I know they always come back. And I think she's got a good idea where the apartment is, but it's above and beyond that. She doesn't know. It's a dangerous world out there. I mean, part of the reason I took her in is because she was out playing in the street. I asked around if she belonged to anybody. So that is sort of my cat update. I know it's not fascinating to most people, but I figured I'd go over the details of what's been happening. And it was because of Molly being in labor and us hanging out with her for hours and hours. That's sort of my sleep schedule got screwed up. And I tell you, my days, I feel exhausted lately. And maybe some of that's partially the weather has been kind of brutal in areas, and here it's been warmer, more humidity, which I don't necessarily do great in heat. um, but I got AC rolling in here. Um, and so it hasn't been too horrible. But yeah, I just feel like more exhausted lately. Um, and I'm sure it's my little bit of freaking out about Molly and what am I going to do, and then dealing with her weird hours for hours. Um, so it's just a matter of stress and trying to find her a new home and all that. Feeling a little bit helpless until things completely turned around and found her home. So I'm so very happy. So now I just have to deal with my little one. She is so freaking adorable. I can't tell you how much. And she's so super sweet when she's not bouncing off the wall. And Frank says, it was fascinating listening to how pregnant cats act. Yeah, man. It's a little strange. It's a wee bit strange. So, I will check back with my neighbor and with Molly's condition and go see the kittens when the time comes and all that. Um, as it happens, I might be working at the, you know, cat sanctuary outside of town tomorrow. We shall see. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Um, if not, I'll just be here catching up on work and things I gotta do. But plugging away at retro and a graphic novel, and I gotta get back on the Wildcat anthology story. But now that like the cat scenario situation is once again figured out, I could start figuring out my schedule because it seemed like everything was up in the air for a little bit. But yeah, progress is being made on things, and that is always good. I did that Clint Eastwood piece not too long ago, which I showed off. And if you want to follow any of my work, Instagram is mostly where I post stuff, but also Twitter and Facebook sometimes. And of course, all my links are down below the video, including my Patreon if you want to support me and my work or help me feed my cats. I am definitely at my limit. I thought I was before, but freaking Panda Bear is so adorable. I could not say no to that pretty face. She's mostly gray and got white boots, white crest on her chest, and like a line going down her belly. And she's a popping and rocking. She just like randomly pops up in the air. She talks a lot more. Not meows. She chortles is what I call it, where she's making sound effects. It sounds like she's talking a little bit. Yeah, fine tune that. So once again, this is page 19. Oh, and I did look forward a bit. So the first 20 pages of this book were, well, actually, he has the date on it. It's December 2010. I thought he finished these pages in 2009, but maybe I got the first batch in 2009 and the last batch, second batch in 2010. So the first 20 pages were finished in 2010, and then the last 8 pages were finished last year, I believe he gave it to me. And they're different styles, so that's going to be interesting when I get to those. Not totally different. And Frank says, "Oh, tomorrow the podcast is having a special guest. Who could that be?" And Frank says, "Me." Awesome. I know you. I see you on random Joshua Kimball streams, so it only makes sense that they put you on the Arcasters. Is that your first Arcasters appearance? I forget if you've ever been on the official show. I have. I mean, besides me and Jeff starting the Arcasters years ago, I have been on the Joshua Kimball, Scott Circlin version of the Arcasters. So, is this too bright? Let me do this. Maybe it's a little better. So we got retro. This is interior of a office. Retro is sitting at somebody's desk, and he runs really fast, and then punches our criminal out and knocks him down onto the floor, and then he takes him to a local bar where he wants to have a talk with him, and that's his little stars going over that guy's head. But yeah, I'm not going to do too much tonight. But I wanted to get all that sort of cat news out there. The only other update I will have whenever that happens will be when Molly gives birth. And if she put her pregnancy on hold, I'm not sure exactly when that will be. If it hasn't already occurred, I'm not in 24/7 contact with the woman. Frank says, "Yeah, it will be my first appearance on the Outcasts with Josh and Scott. I've been on the Outcast with Jeff and Gibb a few times. Yep. Yep. Definitely know that." But yeah, progress is being made on retro and other stuff. Let's see. I'm thinking I should be done with the inking this month. I feel like I've said that too many times, but it should be feasible. It's just, when the pressure of my other projects calls, I got to answer. And currently, and for the foreseeable future, I'll be working at the cat sanctuary a couple times a week, but nothing. There's no set pattern to anything in my life at the moment. But yeah, that should happen this month. Then I could work on final script and production. August, September, and maybe to the printer in October. I don't know. It seems reasonable at the moment. But I do these streams to keep everybody informed about my progress on my book. And I throw up updates on the Kickstarter page where I got initial funding. So this year for sure. Get this done and into people's hands, and I can get on to the next book and the next book and the next book after that, and so on and so on. So if this year is only a couple books, next year I'll have more books, and I'll finally be able to relax a little bit and focus more of my future energy on future issues of Retro, the ongoing series. So yeah, thanks for everybody coming by. Give it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'm up to 890 subscribers, just 110 away from reaching 1,000. So let's make that happen. I've had just over 20 subscribers in the last month, so that's incredible month. Let's continue with that. And yeah, I'll be back again soon. Not sure exactly when, to announce my comic book making art challenge, and then I'll have a lineup of guests coming on, talk about their projects and their process and all that jazz. So thank you for checking it out as usual. Love you all. Be productive. Have a great week, and see you again next time.